Why do men care about a woman's body count? I see the same comment over and over from men saying that a woman with a lower body count is more desirable.
In my body of work, I've made it a point to communicate to you guys just how much the modern woman lacks empathy. Now, this is a big issue because the modern woman believes herself to actually have empathy in abundance, when the truth is the modern woman has no ability to empathize with something she can't see herself in. What the modern woman thinks is empathy is actually sympathy projected. Let's watch the rest of the video. I'll break it down and I'll explain to you all of the areas this woman really lacks empathy.
And as a divorce lawyer, I've seen men portray their wives as used up or too experienced. The men who say this aren't really talking about numbers. They're talking about how their wives are harder to control and how they've stopped tolerating the bare minimum.
Is that what men are talking about, or are you projecting your own thoughts and feelings? This is what I'm saying. When you lack empathy, you are unable to have understanding. And what you don't understand, you fear. Is that what men are talking about, or is that what you are projecting? Are you jumping to conclusions? Are you assuming, judging, accusing?
Men who care about a low body count want a woman with no frame of reference, a woman who won't recognize mistreatment because she has nothing to compare it to, a woman who will accept less, question less, and sacrifice more because she's still learning what love should feel like.
Empathy is a very, very crucial skill, because when you have empathy, you're able to have understanding. And when you have understanding, you're able to have mastery. When you have understanding and mastery, you really don't have judgment. All right. When you truly understand things, then you have an understanding. And what empathy gives you is it gives you positive evaluations of others. So empathy actually gives you quite a positive mind state, right? A lack of empathy gives you a very negative mind state. So you make a lot of negative evaluations. The fact that you've come to the conclusion that men like women with low body counts because it's easy to abuse them, it really, again, it shows a severe lack of empathy. And because you have this no empathy, no understanding, you can't make accurate predictions of the thoughts, feelings, motivations, and fears of men. You can only feel sorry for yourself and make your projections when you refuse to accept truths that, I don't know, make you feel uncomfortable.
The same men who obsess over how many people you've been with are the same ones who can't name a single healthy relationship that they've contributed to. They want someone untouched, unbothered, unbroken, while showing up as the most emotionally unavailable, inconsistent version of themselves. This whole body count debate, it's not about values, it's about power.
If she had empathy, she would have the ability to take up perspectives. All right. I would say she doesn't have the ability to take up any perspectives. She is feeling sorry for herself and projecting. All right. So it's her perspective and the perspective of other women who look like her and talk like her. If she had empathy, she'd be able to make a better observation than that. All right. She obviously doesn't have cognitive empathy. If she was curious, then she would be asking more questions instead of yapping online. If she was in her prefrontal cortex, then she wouldn't be triggered. All right. The only reason why she is triggered is because, I don't know, something's triggering her fight or flight, and that's why she's projecting. If she was emotionally regulated, then she would be able to do perspective taking and probably come up with a better conclusion than that. But instead, she hasn't got any of that. She is projecting shame. All right. So the shame she feels for herself, she is projecting this shame onto, I suppose, the men who are watching or something. I don't know. But usually when someone projects, when someone makes assumptions and jumps to conclusions, it usually exposes how they think. All right. So this is her understanding. If I was doing these things to me, it would be because I was seeking power.
It's patriarchy's way of shrinking a woman's worth down to a number so a man can feel like he's the prize for choosing her, even if he's bringing nothing to the table but audacity.
Anytime you hear people use the patriarchy, it really is to fill in their own logical inconsistencies. And I want you guys to understand that people who are trying to tear down the patriarchy are anarchists. They are genuinely trying to tear down society. When people are saying, let's bring down the patriarchy, they are literally saying, let's bring down everything that got us here. Let's burn it down and let's start it all over again to see if we survive.
No one asks men their count because a man's past is seen as experience while women's past are labeled as shame.
Yes, because a man who is able to sleep with a lot of women, if anything, it shows his empathy. It shows his approach motivated behavior. It shows his pro-social behavior. It shows his confidence, his self-esteem, his ability to understand women, his ability to have mastery of women, his ability to make accurate predictions of the thoughts, feelings, fears, and motivations of women. When women do well, actually, they're quite polygamous. Actually, women are actually very polygamous. If you look at the behaviors of women, they have things like groupies. They queue up for high value men with power and status. If you're a man and you have women, that is the best way to attract more women. So women actually reward men for their experience, for their empathy, for their accomplishments, for the things they've done in the past and stuff like that, right? Women reward men more than anything else. Trust me, all right? I would say in modern day society, your average man looks down on the player type, right? Because of envy or jealousy or whatever, more than your average woman actually does, all right? So, and secondly, shame is something that is internalized, all right? So if you feel shame as a woman and that stops you from sleeping around, that's your own problem, all right? Just because the men haven't internalized the shame, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person for having a good relationship with their self.
It's a double standard that rewards men for exploring while punishing women for living.
Again, if you was a woman with empathy, you would understand that there are loads of double standards in life. And if anything, as a woman, you profit off more double standards. Do you know how many double standards as a man we just know is not in our favor? You know? And then the double standards that we do have in our favor as well, it's like, we don't have any privilege. This double standard is an accomplishment. Like if you've got the skill set, right? If you've got the skill set, the suave, the empathy, the charisma, the charm, the attraction, the seduction, the double standard is, yeah, you will be seen as, wow, impressive. Of course, because what do you need to be able to sleep with a lot of women? I mean, a lot of men. You don't need any skills, actually. You just need to show up.
But here's the irony. The woman they fear, the one with too much experience, she's the one who's less likely to fall for breadcrumbs. She knows what love feels like. She doesn't confuse attention for affection. She's not moved by empty compliments or the illusion of being chosen. If a man is more focused on your body count than your values, your integrity, or your emotional safety, he's not looking for a partner. He's looking for property.
Ladies, there's nothing you can do to make up for a checkered past. Nothing you can do. There's no amount of new values you instill, new character you instill. There's no amount of new work you do. There's nothing you can do to make up for a checkered past. There's nothing you could do to make up for a past of sleeping around men who don't like you, sleeping with men who aren't committed to you, sleeping with men for dishonorable reasons, like you're bored, or you're seeking attention, or you're looking for validation, or you traded sex for money. Nothing's going to make up for that. Any man that you deal with, as soon as they begin to sniff, use their empathy to find out that you probably was a dishonorable woman, they're gonna switch up on you. That's just life. That's just how things are. You know, his lust might bring him here, and then his post-nut clarity is going to take him elsewhere. That's just life. But guys, thank you for staying up until the end. I'm going to show you something that I think it could be of great use for you. The issue with modern day relationships. So this is what I've called this little thing. I haven't finished it, but it's all right? And I was saying, this is called Metaphysics and Relationships. How you see reality drastically affects how your relationships work. All right. So for me, I believe in monism. All right. So for me, I believe that I believe that there is a truth. Now you can call this truth God. You can call it the universe. You can call it your higher calling, a purpose. Call it what you want to call it. But I believe that there is a unifying thing that stitches everything together, right? And for me, you know, I think that it can be God, it can be truth. I think God and truth is synonymous with each other. All right. So for me, I really, really serve the truth. I really worship the truth, and I live my life in accordance to the truth, right? I believe that I'm on earth to fulfill a duty. You know, what's this duty? I don't know. To do my role correctly as a man, right? So because that's what I believe, you know, I live my life in a certain type of way. I'm quite dutiful with my life, right? So I'm always working towards something. I have a goal, you know. So the relationships that I get into, you know, any woman that I take seriously, we are both actually working towards something. We're both working towards something, all right? And because we're both working towards something, it's a good relationship, right? My masculinity and her femininity is complementary. It's complementary, you know? So I'm a man. So the man who seeks, most men are usually quite stressed. We've got testosterone and stuff, so we're always upregulated. So we seek down regulation. You know, we seek down regulation, and most women are quite low, feeling sorry for themselves, so they seek up regulation. You know, and because we are not I'll get to this in a sec. Because we aren't versus each other, we're always working towards each other. My strengths and the woman's strengths, it's nice. We work, like, her femininity is good, my masculinity is good. All right. Now, this is how I see reality, and my relationships work in the same type of way. Now, in modern day society, this is how the majority of people see relationships. All right. Ever since we lost God, ever since we lost religion, you know, we lost that kind of third entity. We've lost this. We've lost third spaces, and we've also lost this third entity. All right. So because we no longer have something we're both working towards in our relationships, right? We are having relationships for no reason. All right. We are having relationships for no reason. Right. When we're no longer having purpose be leading our relationships, we have pleasure. All right. So let me go through some of the differences with these two models, and why this one works and why this one doesn't work. Right. You see, they're both unhappy, and they're both happy. All right. So as I said, this type of relationship is goal oriented. Right. So we're always working towards something. So my skills and your skills, we are coming together, you know, and we're working towards something. The best partnership you can ever have on earth is a very masculine man and a very feminine woman, right? That covers the whole spectrum of humanity. And so we have all of the skills required to accomplish anything, you know. In this dynamic we have, so our skills is complementary. You know, so we're goal oriented, so our skills are complementary, right? In the dualist, so dualism is like an idea. So in metaphysics, it will be like, you know, you've got a material reality and an immaterial reality. It's two different aspects of reality. They're different, right? So anyway, that's the difference. So under this model, where you're not goal orientated, you're pleasure comfort orientated. So you're both individually, you are seeking pleasure and comfort, and you're seeking pleasure and comfort. And because you're masculine and feminine, you're both going in completely different ways. You're versing each other. It's a battle, actually, right? So your skills are an issue. It's conflicting. It's conflicting, right? Rather than it being complementary, right? So under this model, you will experience love. You will experience love and trust, right? Because you're both working towards the same thing, all right? And under this module, you'll experience war. All is fair in love and war, yeah, because you've got some people who see reality like this, and you've got some people who see reality like this. All is fair in love and war, all right? Us versus them. When you are both working towards something in your relationship, when you're purpose-driven in your relationship, you will create an us versus whoever mentality. When you're not doing that, it's me versus you. It's me versus you. Who wins? Control or be controlled. Kill or be killed. Dominate or be dominated. All right? In this type of relationship, you have empathy. Empathy. Why? Because you're everything you're doing, you're working towards understanding. All right, so you're working towards an understanding. You only would practice empathy if you're working towards a goal, right? Because that's when it's a requirement that you have understanding and you have understanding. Projections don't move you towards a goal, all right? And obviously, this type of dynamic is sympathetic, all right? So understanding, judgment. So in the empathetic relationship dynamic like this, your issues will be guilt, all right? And so if any issues are happening, any emotional issues you guys are suffering, it will be guilt, which is very, very good, because guilt leads to pro-social behaviors. Guilt leads to apologies, atonement, rectifying stuff. Guilt is actually quite good. It's an emotion that leads to pro-social behaviors and better connections, right? In this dynamic, it's not guilt, it's shame. You're both dealing with shame individually, and this is what's making you withdraw and avoidant. This is what's making you withdraw and avoidant. You both are struggling with the bad self, and this is what's making you avoid the truth. You don't use the truth. So shame always leads to antisocial behaviors. If you're not working towards anything, then really and truly, you're both just pleasure-driven and secretive, and you're going to have shame for that, all right? In this type of dynamic, when you're both working towards a goal, you have duty. You have a sense of duty, both of you. You're right. So you're going to be the best mother you can be. You're going to be the best father and stuff you can be. You have roles. You know that you both have to symbolize and represent something for things to work. All right. Here you don't have any duty. You have compromise. All right. I have to give up my pleasures that I want. And instead of roles, you have expectations. Expectations neither are you going to meet. So because of this expectation, you have disappointment. Disappointment. I should scratch that as disappointment. All right. Under this model, you're both working towards the truth. Under this model, it's judgment. All right. Judgment. Harmony. You're both working towards harmony. So there's no truth. You guys will just lie to each other just to keep the peace. All right. Under this model, you got judgment as well. I've got acceptance here. So when you're here, you accept each other. Under your purpose, you accept each other. You accept each other. Under here, you judge each other. Here, you will be committed. This is a commitment. You'll have a commitment towards each other. You'll be working around a commitment. Here, you would have dependency. It's very different. I depend on you because I can't get anyone better. I depend on you because I need you for money. Here is actually a commitment. I'm just committed to you. I love you. I'm committed to you. I love you. Let's do this whole thing. All right. So this is unity. Unity. This one isn't the individuals. You're both a bunch of individuals. You don't even love each other. All right. And ultimately, this gives you meaning and fulfillment. This way of doing things, this gives you nihilism. I don't believe in anything like the divorce lawyer. Nihilistic. Guys, like, follow, leave a comment. Please sign up for the one-on-one coaching.